Hi guys, my name is Keith Narodis, known as the leader and superior of Club LASM, aka lover of animated shows and movies. And I'm here with two of my closest friends, such as Gilbert.
Hello!
And Lazy Bones.
Life is the worst, which is why you need good insurance.
So first things first, how are we doing this lovely Tuesday afternoon?
Honestly, I could do a lot better. At this time, it seems that Netflix has laid off a lot of people in animation and canceled a couple of projects, including Wings of Fire, which would have been executive produced by Dan Milano, the co-creator of Glitch Text, and another project, The Anti-Racist Baby, which would have been based on the children's book of the same name.
At this point, I don't know what Netflix is doing. It's like they were doing good then, like a couple of years prior, like in 2020, but now, what are they doing?
It's honestly almost a mystery to me at this time. Like please someone comment below or tell me about this. Like, when was the last time you heard a lots of layoffs like this that didn't involve a merger? Like, have you heard this happening with Disney, HBO, or Nick? Have you ever heard anything about all this? That's my biggest question. And compare all that to Netflix, which is supposed to be the biggest streaming giant in entertainment, and to see it fall so hard like this. Now, that's not to say...
I know how it feels to be laid off.
Right, yeah.
I was laid off. Me and 150 other people were laid off at Disney World because it was raining outside.
Wait, is that true?
No, I was just like making a joke because usually some theme parks will lay you off because it's raining outside, and so you're not able to go on any roller coasters or anything like that.
Look, I'm not sure our family are gonna cancel our subscription for Netflix, but we still do enjoy some of the content. I love Kid Cosmic, BoJack Horseman, Castlevania, and I am still excited to see the Mona. Even though Netflix is a distributor, I would still love to see it very soon. It's just very hard for me to not think about all this, all the layouts. I hope to God that these people will find a new stable job, and I just hope that someone somewhere on Netflix is smart enough to fix all. I'm hoping that someone will turn this around. Like, maybe Netflix won't be as big as it used to be, but just hope to God, just get it to make it stop making all these stupid decisions. Like,
they still got a lot of good content. Like, they have a lot of classic movies that I really like. They've got, the Hateful Eight extended edition. They've got a lot of classic movies like Inception. Basically a lot of good movies that Netflix didn't make. But they also got some good originals like Tick Tick. They've got a lot of good stuff, but it sucks if this is gonna be how they go about, their business decisions and everything.
Well, I suppose. Take this as you will. At this time, or as of this recording, the story that Netflix is considering putting Knives Out 2 in theaters for 45 days before putting it back in streaming.
Honestly, that's fine with me. It's funny because that's what a lot of major studios are doing with their movies now, like Universal, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney. If you didn't know, a lot of major studios that have streaming services, after they release their movies in theaters, 45 days after their theatrical run, or while they're still running in theaters, 45 days afterwards is when they're going to premiere on their streaming services like Disney Plus or Peacock or Paramount Plus, HBO Max. That's what Hollywood's doing with a lot of big movies now. For example,
this is probably one of the smartest. If they go through with it, it's probably one of the smartest decisions that Netflix had made in months.
Yeah, it's not even rocket science, kind of decision making. It's maybe we should just put it in theaters for a long time. Maybe people would like that.
Yeah.
Better than nothing.
Oh, I just really hope that, like I said, I hope that someone can turn this around. If maybe Netflix won't be as big, but at least it won't just come crumbling down. Something like Netflix to fall flat like that's just beyond sad. And again, I'm hoping a lot of these people will find good jobs, and I just hope management on Netflix will change. It needs a change.
And I hope whoever fired all those people, I hope they lose their job, just like those poor executives lost their jobs.
Yeah, and with Amphibia coming to the end, they're looking for cartoons for Netflix to watch. They're trying to find something else to watch. Now that Amphibia has ended, what now? What are they trying to find to watch?
I guess we got a couple episodes of the Owl House left before we go on a hiatus and then go to season 3.
Which is going to be basically like 3 44-minute specials, which is going to be basically almost like a movie almost. I hope that they eventually just combine them into a big movie or something like that that's 2 hours or something.
And apparently, Dana did mention that if things goes good, maybe we could see an Owl House comic or an art book.
Yeah, so I guess with that said, like, we should really consider the big finale of Amphibia, I suppose, because, man, that finale was a tearjerker. I just feel like the finale was literally just a
Hardest thing.
Yes.
The hardest thing, Anne's journey comes to an end. Prophecyful potential.
Based on what Anne told us, I think these shards are low-output versions of the stones.
So we can use them to get back home?
In theory, but we're talking crumbs of energy. Judging by the size and luminosity, I think they're one-time use only.
So if we use these to return home, there's no coming back.
Not only that, who knows how long they'll hold for? Could be hours, could be minutes.
The finale starts immediately where we left off, with the core, being the sore loser that it is, controlling the red moon to plummet towards Earth. Upon seeing this, Mother Ohm arrives in the nick of time, announcing that the prophecy has come to pass. She tells the trio about the prophecy being more of a cry for help, which may involve with the 3 gems. At first they were reluctant, knowing that using the gem powers would result losing their chance of returning home. But if it means saving Amphibia, then so be it. But just when the entire group goes along with the plan, Mother Ohm stops Anne to let her know about a hidden spell that is within the 3 gems that can only be used as a last resort if things don't go well. However, it would cause the life of the user that uses the gem. At the castle, Valerina activates the bot, making the trio the most powerful of them all. They, along with the help of King Andreas' robot army, did whatever it takes to prevent the core to go even further towards its destination, but to no avail. With all hope seems lost, Anne tells Marcy and Sasha about her plan of using the spell. The 2 refuses, but Anne proceeds to ask them to let her take the lead, the same way she did with the girls throughout the 3 seasons. The 2 resist and follow through the plan. Not long until Sprig tries to stop her, but to no avail. Anne uses the spell, defeating the core once and for all, ultimately sacrificing herself in the process. Afterwards, Anne immediately wakes up in some mysterious dimension with a small house. She goes in where she greets a cosmic guardian, who she finds first being a computer, then later turns into her pet cat Domino. The cosmic guardian told Anne about waiting over 10,000 years for someone to at least using the stones for the greater good, and now wants her to take their place as the next guardian. Anne politely declined the offer, claiming that she's too young to have such responsibility to be a guardian and still have a lot left to live. The understandable guardian retrieves her back to life and notices that the 3 gem shards are still glowing.
With Anne being returned back to life in Amphibia, Anne has the 3 shards of the gem. They only have enough juice to take them all home as a one-way ticket. Everybody said their goodbyes. It was all emotional. All the family they made, and with one last goodbye from Anne and Sprig, with Anne leaving Sprig her phone, she, Sasha, and Marcy leaves right back to their home on Earth. 10 years later, we see in Amphibia everybody got older. Sprig, now he's becoming somewhat of an explorer and an author. Kind of reminds me of a certain 6-fingered scientist. And everybody is unveiling the new statue of Anne, looking heroic, still remembering that the poofy-haired girl who managed to get everybody together and save the multiverse. As for back on Earth, it seems that Sasha has changed greatly, as she is now going to be a psychologist for kids, and Marcy is making a webcomic. As for Anne, she works in an aquarium where she is at the Amphibia section, where she teaches the kids about all the amphibious life, including a little tree frog named Sprig. The friends are reunited, and all the childhood memories came flooding back. And that is the end.
Yeah, the moment the three girls leave with that pink frog, the title card just says the end. And not only ends the episode, then so does the series.
The end of the show.
Yeah, that is the end.
Like,
This was, like, the hardest thing is right. It's one of the hardest things we could ever do is say goodbye to a show like this. But at least we can say that it was a show that ended the way it wanted to end. And what also makes this episode special is that it credit to many, many people in animation. I think including some of the people in South Korea who helped make the episode.
They should do that more often.
Exactly. All these shows and movies, they should include all the names who work on them. They work really hard to make them. All they want is their name to be recognized in it. Credit they deserve. And more pay, too. That can't hurt.
yeah.
Apparently, there's also some names listed in the credits as well. There are special thanks from Braley, including Alex Hirsch, Dana Terrace, Thora Van Orman, and Michael Rianda.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised to see them
Thora
in the
Van
credits
Orman
because
and,
I bet
Michael
they
Rianda.
must have played their part of the show as well.
The parents just looking at it here. The Thor Van Orman, he also voiced Amphibiland prototype Weed.
Yeah,
what
I
will
forgot.
eventually be known as Amphibia.
Yeah.
There are really cool moments in the episode, like the girls having what they described as cool anime powers.
The line that Marcy said at one
Seriously.
point was like, this is the most anime thing I've ever experienced, I think. That's the line.
Look at them. You look at this picture out of content, and if I've never seen Amphibia, and I see that picture, it very looks anime. The closest I've seen something like that would be like Star Versus and She-Ra.
Yeah, can we
Yeah,
just
this is, as soon as I saw like the Anne, Sasha, and Marcy turning into like getting their glowy powers and turning into like blue, green, and like red colors, I thought that it was definitely the best Powerpuff reboot that's been made since the show ended in 2005.
Ooh.
The cool anime powers and using her racket, playing tennis, and we got Marcy playing dice, like Dungeons and Dragons, even rolling a perfect 20 and bam. The animation, holy crap, it is spectacular and amazing. It's just like how it was in All In. That's how it's still cool. They'll be able to keep up with it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
you can
surprised as
definitely tell,
well.
like the animators for the sequence, like they most definitely deserve to be like credited for it, especially since this is like the magnum opus of like action sequences and animation in the entire show, Amphibia. I also really liked how they also had like a musical rendition of the "It's No Big Deal." Like,
That was one I've
that
noticed.
was a big song.
Like,
in,
the moment
season
I've
2.
heard that instrumental, the moment I heard it, I immediately just sang along to it. Like, I just love
You
that
were singing
scene.
along to it.
Like, the moment I've heard the No Big Deal, like, the moment I heard it, I was like, no big deal. I was literally just singing along to it, and I just felt really happy. I just acknowledged the animation. Like, it was just magnificent. That scene alone, I'm glad they were given acknowledge of how much they put just that one, like, 2-minute scene alone, like, the best 2 minutes I've seen. Like, wow. Like, it was
One
amazing.
of my friends was actually praising the music in that sequence. I think the musician's name was TJ Hill. Hope I
Yeah,
pronounced that
it
right.
was CJ Hill.
Yes, thank you. And I've been talking about how cool the animation is and how fluid they are, but I neglect the music, and that's my fault for not recognizing it. It can't be what it is without songs that goes with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like a fist pumping moment, as were many other sequences in the episode.
Yeah. That animation fluid, that thing, the animation
And of course,
they did,
looking at the
it happened again when Sprig and Anne had that final hug. You can see how the camera pans just spinning around. It's just so fluid.
I can definitely tell that there was a bit of a different animation sequence in that a bit, but yeah, I feel really bad that I am not as I don't show a lot of emotions in this type of scene as the rest of you guys. I know a lot of you said that you were sad. One of my friends, he said he was on the verge of tears, but just so you know, I was like weeping on the inside, you know. Like
I was so emotionally invested. I just wasn't crying outside because I never really cried to many movies or TV shows, to be honest.
I've tried so hard to cry. Like, I felt so much emotion watching this finale at first time.
I will say there is one funny thought to think about. Amphibia isn't flat.
Yeah, the world isn't flat.
Oh yeah, I thought the thing is that we got to see that it's an actual planet. That was kind of cool.
And Hopper was like, wait, you think the world is round? And I know a couple people think, oh wait, Amphibia really is flat? And I'm like, no. Does Hop look like he's the smartest man to you? I mean, no offense to Wartwood, but that town doesn't look like it has the best of education. I mean, it's a small town, and they mostly do farming and wood carving, animal wrangling. That doesn't look like it puts a lot of education in there.
Yeah.
So the fact that Hop believes that Amphibia is flat, it probably shouldn't be that shocking to me.
Yeah, and plus I've also noticed that the entire fight sequence is literally in outer space. So how were able to breathe in outer space while having those gem powers? Like, was it the gem powers that helps them make them breathe outer space? How Sprig was able to breathe?
Don't overthink it.
Hey,
It lets them breathe underwater as well.
Wow.
Hey, gem powers can do lots of things. It's mysterious to us. It's a godly thing.
Oh, speaking of godly thing, I've also want to discuss about one thing that is about Anne's fate. Because recently on Twitter, they were discussing about the fate of Anne Boonchoi, whether if that was just a clone, or was it actually the real Anne, but just in a duplicate body, you know?
No, the latter sounds more logical, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not going to discuss that any further. I'm just going to say it, point here and now. I'm not going to have any argument. They're going to don't at me. I'm just going to say, up we're seeing Anne, same soul, same mind, just a different body. That the god thing, like, reconstructed. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
I'd say so too.
Me too. Like
Okay,
I knew
moving past that.
Yeah.
The god, that god guarding the multiverse, that is something. And the fact that the cat thing said, like, if my true form, it will destroy your mind, that's not far of a stretch in most stories.
What did you think of the rest of the episodes besides, the awesome, like, action sequence in space? Because, like, I think it concluded everything perfectly, honestly. Like, you get to see, like, what
Andreas basically became Thanos afterwards, he went from an old tyrant who's been destroying everything to becoming a farmer. Hope to God nobody shows up to cut his head off.
Wow.
And then we get...
Oh, and before you further, Matt literally just tweeted that Andreas' vision, he revealed that his vision is most likely falling after the time skip.
Looking at Andreas' eyes, yeah, they are definitely great.
Yeah.
Become like his father soon.
Look at that scene again, look at it again, and yeah, you can definitely see where Matt's coming from. He will not be there for long.
Like, is he losing his vision, you think?
Like, look at that scene where he's farming. Look closer at his eyes. You can see it's great.
And do you think it's gonna be like, remember when they showed flashbacks to his father, and, in the show before, where, like, his father does really have eyes? Do you think it's gonna become like that?
I'm not really sure.
Ooh, he did look pretty old. That's a good question. Then again, Andrea's body didn't really change much, did it? Because of all the cybernetic parts.
Yeah.
And then we got Joe Sparrow and Bessie having Snailbird.
One of the, did you want to go to, like, move on to, like, basically kind of, I guess, sort of the conclusion of the episode of how, like, Anne kind of, Anne and the girls kind of have to leave Wartwood and go back to the human world.
Yeah, it's like, it was one hell of an emotional, like, scene.
You know what's also pretty messed up, if you think about it?
What?
Percy and Braddock.
Oh, yeah. I was questioning where they went for Percy and Braddock. Where were they?
Yeah, at least, I don't think they were at Toad Tower when Andreas blew it up. Just hope to God that they are safe and safe from that. And best case scenario, they're in a traveling circus show together.
No, they left the show because they left to make cameos in the upcoming Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie.
Oh, don't get me started with that Chip and Dale movie. Like, come on.
Look, I know some of my friends are hopeful for it, some are excited for it. I'm not so much. I've seen a couple of clips from there, and I'm just not seeing the appeal, honestly. I just don't. Like, it's cool, Roger Rabbit's there? No, that's pretty cool. Is that it? Is that all you got? Just Space Jam 2?
Or Ready Player One.
It's like they're trying. It's like
At
Disney
least
versus
Ready
of
Player
Space Jam
One, that's
2.
based on a book. At least you got something to fall back on.
Yeah.
And the animation looks very wonky as well. Like, not so much the 3D animation, but like the 2D
part.
cell animation, I think it is. Like, it just looks like choppy and jarring.
Still friends, and they don't gotta worry about Sasha or Grime ever, unless Grime happens to find them, and then they realize Sasha is gone. Won't that be heartbreaking?
Yeah, it will be really hard.
Sometimes I feel bad thinking about this. It's like, looking back, definitely Amphibia ended a lot better than Star versus Forces of Evil, but sometimes I always think of the horrible side, or sad side of things. Like, now Echo Chris gotta deal with all this monster and crap, now Percy and Braddock will never know that Sasha is gone.
It also ended better than Star Wars.
Ooh, gee.
And hey, look at that, we get some happy ending. Olivia and Yunan, hey, they're together.
Yes, they're
And thinking
officially a
about having
married
kids.
couple. They're officially a married couple. Oh, and let's figure. Oh, we know I really feel sorry for Lago because he lost
Oh, yes,
all
because he had a
that
cheat
muscle.
day.
Had
Which
a cheat
character?
day. One cheat.
But Loggle, the wood carver.
Yeah, he had all that muscle.
I should
Only
never
for him to
take
have a
that cheat day.
and all that muscle's gone. Yeah.
I think he just ate and couldn't stop.
I wonder what he could have ate in that costume to lose all that weight.
Who knows, but I hope it was damn good.
Ooh.
I think there was an alternate scene and Loggle was unveiling the statue and Stumpy said, hey, shouldn't the shoe be on the other foot? And Loggle attacked Stumpy.
Oh, wow.
I seen it on Twitter, but I'm not sure if that was an official storyboard or fan art. Honestly, I know I retweeted it somewhere, but please correct me on that. But if that was the case, that would have been damn funny.
I'm glad that they didn't save the Darcy transforming back into Marcy thing to the very last episode. I'm glad they didn't do that, and they gave more time for us to see Marcy again.
Yeah.
Also in All In, but also in the very final episode.
Yeah.
Dart's thing.
Like, I'm happy for Marcy to come back before the show even ended.
Remember the last time I predicted that the government is going to do the whole cover-up thing after Andrea's invasion? Hey, look at that. I was right.
Yeah, I knew it. I kind of figured they would most likely do cover up.
It's 10 years later. Was the frog invasion fake? I knew
Remember
something like that was gonna happen.
Remember that setup that they had in the beginning of All In where Anne had to write this paper for her principal? Did she ever finish that paper?
My only head
I'm
canon
not
is that
even
she
sure.
most likely wrote the paper down and gave it to her principal, and most likely got an A+.
Sounds like-
Happy ending for
It's
me.
Probably maybe some of her monologue in the end of the episode. Maybe that was part of her paper.
I'm thinking that it kind of sounded like that. So maybe it's up to interpretation.
It's up to interpretation. But what's also, and of course, all the friends had their separate ways. Now,
Yeah.
I know there was some, including myself, weren't sure whether the girls would stay friends or not. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, if they were to become friends, they need to do a lot of work. But apparently, yeah, Marcy moved away, and Sasha and Anne went to different high schools.
I think Anne and Sasha weren't part of the same friend group for a while. I think they moved on to different friends and stuff, which is interesting because even though they still are very fond of each other, I think that's just kind of how life is sometimes. You find different people and find new connections.
I know a couple of people say, oh, this is unrealistic. They fought together. How can they just leave like that? I don't know. Humans are very, very complicated. And as we look at all these things before, how much do they, I'm just curious, how much do they have in common? They met each other when they were kids and somehow become friends, okay. But looking back at it, how much they got in common? Just, I'm not being rude. I'd really like to know. I mean, obviously, they don't got a lot in common with Marcy anymore. I mean, hell, they can barely stay away for one movie.
I'm curious how the parents of Marcy reacted when she came back, because she's been gone for 6 months or something like that. And you'd think that maybe that would cause some kind of change in plans for the family to move away or something.
Well, it sounds like it did not, because they did leave in
Yeah.
the end.
I don't know if my kid ran away for 6 months, we're about to move, but she came back, I would be I don't want her, that would be kind of awkward if we just did it anyway. I don't know.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. My guess is that they did leave because they really want to keep an eye on Marcy after that whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A new,
so-
new town, new fresh start, so obviously they're gonna keep an eye on Marcy for a long time. Which would explain why Marcy was able to do a webcomic, you know? At-home stuff.
I wonder if that webcomic most likely about her adventures in Amphibia, because we still have the Marcy Journal coming soon.
Yeah, I will say, like, now we gotta... I will say, it's very sad that Marcy is a little more successful with her webcomic than Kid Cosmic's drawings of his own. Like, he wanted to publish his book, and he got nothing. Hey, maybe he could do the same thing Marcy did. Maybe he could start his own webcomic.
Oh yeah, that's right. He wasn't able to publish his own comic book of his adventures.
Like, he
Marcy
got
is.
rejected 4 times.
Oh,
I
hey,
mean, how many
hey,
times did Marcy
maybe
got
he could
rejected
look,
in
maybe
order
he
to
look
get
at Marcy and say, hey, maybe I can do that.
Yeah, Kid Cosmic, he can travel to different realms, and he goes to the Earth land in Amphibia.
Do you know what we can also acknowledge about my favorite moment? Sasha is officially now canon bisexual now.
Oh, yes. You know, when it comes to some of these flags, like I saw that striped heart at on Sasha's rear view window, and I feel dumb because sometimes I don't remember what all these flags mean. You know, I forget what they represent, and, you know, I'm glad people were able to point that out because I would not have guessed.
Yeah, I'm surprised all these people were also pointing it out. And then Matt immediately
That's right.
confirmed that he's bisexual. So props up
Yeah,
for
yeah,
bisexual representation.
And I'm hearing the stories about how, and there's some people who are upset that Matt was queer baiting people, and no, he wasn't queer baiting anyone. Some people just took that interpretation like way out of proportion.
Like, you mean out of context?
I'm sorry?
No, I know.
Yeah, out of context. Yeah, that's what I meant. Out of context. Like, they took some of these headcanons, like, out of control. Like, if you think that some of these characters may be queer, alright, but, you know, don't be mad if they say, actually, they are this and that.
Yeah.
The fact that Sasha is confirmed to be bisexual, it shouldn't be discounted. It still means something. Not to mention, we got Olivia and Yunan as confirmed to be in a relationship, right?
Yes, like, they literally just showed us not long before the episode ended that they're officially together now.
That's right.
Yeah. And that final scene after the credits is most likely the picture. I think it was the new version of the picture of the trio. And I just felt really emotional for that 2-minute credit scene. Like, it was very emotional for me to see those final 2 minutes of the show.
Look at that. They went out for drinks and they took another picture together.
Yeah. And in the bottom, it's Thai language saying complete or end. At first, I thought it was most likely the frog message, and I was trying to crack the code of the frog message, but nope. It's just Thai language. Yes. I thought it was like the frog decoded message.
Like, I don't know much language. Hell, I barely know French, and I took 2 years of high school on that. So I didn't know it was Thai or anything. But yeah, apparently it's Thai for complete or the end. Although the end sounds a lot better than complete in that scenario.
Yeah.
And not to mention that someone also pointed out, you look at the artwork of the music box, and you look at the picture with Get Lost in Amphibia exhibit with a little spray frog there and the girls were hugging. That looks like an exact picture as you would see the carvings on the music box.
Yeah, like, where did you find that at? Like, which images?
Oh God. There are a lot of Twitter users who know about this stuff, who've seen more stuff with not a lot of comparison. But I will say it is very cool to see how it all comes in full circle.
Me too. Like, I'm legit happy for Matt Bradley for telling the story the way he wanted it to be. Like, thank goodness, like, he didn't, like, suffer the type of fate of cancellation, but no, I'm just glad for him to have his story be told the way he wanted it to be.
And hey, look at that. Pop is still alive.
And
Polly, she's all grown up.
Yeah, you got to see how Sprig and Polly look when they're older.
Yes.
I thought that Polly would look a bit more like, I guess would have a different mouth, like that looks more like a frog, but yeah, they both look good.
And thank God Sasha didn't lose an eye and didn't lose an arm. Thank God.
And no, the only one who lost a limb is Grime. He's the one who lost something.
And so did Andreas, so yeah.
Oh, right, Andreas too, but there's all robot parts. He's more machine than Newt. And
Half,
Toady is
half
the
machine, half
mayor.
new.
Mayor Toady.
Yeah.
With Toadstool as his assistant. Hey, constituents can't bribe themselves.
I'm surprised.
They should give Grime his own movie and call it Robo New and have the tagline be half robot, half new, all cop.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I will also say that Matt, he did say that he would love to do something more with Amphibia in some shape or form, but as of right now, he wants to take a long break from it. And I don't blame him. You know,
Right.
this has been very, very hard to do there. So, you know, if he wants to take a break, more power to him. But if he ever does want to come back to it, I would love for that to happen.
Like, he done spent
I'm sure
another,
what he'll do
like,
next.
a whole decade throughout the whole industry. Like, he spent 2012 to 2016 working on Gravity Falls, and then 2018 he got shown greenlit. So, he worked on the industry for, like, a whole decade. So, it's best that he has this break. He deserves that break.
But the fact that he also opened the idea of a Gravity Falls, Amphibia, and the Owl House as a movie, like, he would love to be part of that. And honestly, I would too. I would just love for everything to be kind of like the Avengers, you know? Like, having these characters grown up and now have to fight a bigger threat.
Like, I could see Amphibia and Gravity Falls, like, you know, taking place in the same universe, I guess. But, like, I don't know about the Owl House. It looks too anime.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
the
I
first
mean, I'm not
episode
like,
looks
I
just
think it's
anime.
because of the animation style of it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I would say like it does take place in the same universe, just a different style.
Yeah.
But I can just imagine Dipper watching TV, or he's looking on his phone, and all of a sudden he sees the Amphibia invasion, and now Dipper is just desperate to find out where it came from.
Be interesting.
I could actually see him trying to find Anne and talk to her about all this.
It'll be like Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
Yeah, I still remember
Remember those like crossover movies that the Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron did?
Yes, I still remember that. Had pleasant childhood memories from that.
Let's just hope Luz makes it out okay in the Owl House.
Amphibia into the Disneyverse.
Good one. And at this rate, I should just rate the finale 100. Like, good. Just rate it 100 because it is the best finale in history. I can just say, like, it was one of the
I
best
would give
ones to
it-
say goodbye.
I would give it a 10.
An 8 for me.
8. Ooh.
Why?
What's your problems with it?
It was the end, and we didn't see the parents.
Oh yeah, actually, what was one of my criticisms? Actually, I would say is that I
Yeah.
do wish that we got to see the parents at the end, but I guess they could only fit so much in.
Only fits so much in. And two, in the whole godly thing, it just feels too metaphysical. I guess. Other than that, the episode was great. The finale was great.
Yeah.
9.5 for me. 9.5, 9, 10. I can't decide what I give it, but I'd give it a high score.
Yes, just give it 100, man. Like 100%. I just love how they were able to actually make it a very great finale.
If I were to rate it on the moist meter, I'd give it a 95%.
So now, with the show gone, that leaves us the question: what now? What other shows can we have to watch now with Amphibia being gone?
Well, what now is that we finished watching the Owl House, obviously. There are still some more shows coming out. Like, I know that we have some problem with Netflix, okay? Not gonna lie. We do have some upcoming shows that we would like to show our support for. Like,
There's
Dead
other
India,
shows going on. Well,
like Dead India and My Dad the Bounty Hunter.
And I think I still
Oh,
may
what?
have hope for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I think that might be still coming a thing. I still may have hope for this show to be another, like, serialized cartoon, maybe.
Oh, I would also like to have a little more info about Lumberjanes.
Me too! Like, over the summer, I need to get, like, 3 books. Or imagine if that show would be a trilogy season. If they were to have, like, at least 3 seasons or 4 seasons, I would just, like, get 3 books.
I started with 2 books, personally speaking.
Yeah, I
And
need
now
to
I
read those.
got I got 5 books. I gotta get some more.
Yeah, I need to start reading Lumberjanes
Oh,
over the summer.
there was one surprising thing that I neglected in the Amphibia finale. There's one more thing.
What is it?
Anna's gonna die when she's 91.
Oh, yeah.
When the Guardian said that Anna's gonna die in 78 years, it kind of reminds me of Bill Cipher in Gravity Falls.
And when I was watching that scene, like, the Cosmic Guardian, the first time, I literally just noticing about the voice. it keeps reminding me of Ruby from Steven Universe, but watching the credits, it was the same voice actress that voiced Ruby from Steven Universe. It voices the Cosmic Guardian now.
Sherlyn Yee. Hope I
Yeah.
pronounced that right.
I knew her, but I still can't pronounce her name. Dang it.
But look at that. She also voices Chloe from We Bare Bears.
Yeah, and she was also.
Oh, yeah.
She's also Abby from The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Ooh.
Yeah, of course.
I hope that the Owl House finale is also good or great.
It's going to be dark. I'm terrified.
Speaking of which, I think I would like to say one more thing about what I'm hearing about the Owl House. Apparently, according to Dana Terrace, right now we're going to have a little chibi short for the Owl House, which we've been waiting for a long time. Something cute, something fun. And according to Dana, she said that maybe we can get some more support. We can get an art book or a comic series.
Oh, I need those.
Exactly. If anyone deserves a comic series based on a show, it's Dana.
Yeah, I really need those. Whew. With that said, thank you all for being in another LASM podcast. And thank you, Matt Bradley, for making the 4 years in development a masterpiece. Like, Amphibia
Matt Brayley
will be
Matt
forever
Brayley
known as
and
the best
crew,
cartoon.
Matt Brayley,
Everyone who worked on it.
You're all wonderful. You're all amazing. And we thank you for making this awesome show.
With that said, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Click on the notification bell so that way you can stay updated for the animation content from me, Gilbert, and Lazy Bones, and so much more members. Hopefully, if I can recruit some more. With that said, I bid you peace. Thank you, Amphibia. Bye. Say bye and thank you, Amphibia.
Amphibia. Hi, Amphibia.
I am inevitable.
Come on, stop. Oh, jeez.
That was my favorite line from
know.
Amphibia.
Oh,
And I am
Anne
Anne
Boonchoy.
Boonchoy.